Hey, Sophia here, better known on YouTube as the Global Nurse Expat. And tonight I am answering all questions, comments, inquiries about my trip to Costa Rica. If anybody is interested in anything about Costa Rica, about traveling to Costa Rica, about tourism there, about expats, anything of that sort. I'm doing a live Q&A tonight. Hey guys. So as I was saying, I'm doing a live Q&A tonight, taking all questions, comments, concerns, inquiries about my recent trip to Costa Rica. If anybody has any burning questions about visiting the country, I am here to fill in the gaps for you. I see some folks in the comments. If you'd be so kind as to say a hello and where you're tuning in from, and if you have any questions. I know one thing, my skin is still itching and burning from those mosquito bites. And the hot and stickiness of that climate hasn't worn off yet. And then, of course, I come back to Houston and it is just as hot and just as sticky. Okay, I see my sorority sister Nova out there. Hello, Nova. How you doing? Where are you listening from or looking in from? Are you still on vacation? Again, if anyone else is out there, please pop into the comments. Let me know you're out there and where you're watching from. And if you have any questions or comments about my recent trip to Costa Rica, if there's any questions that you have about visiting Costa Rica in general. Hey, Crystal. Okay, Crystal from Houston, Texas. Uh, Crystal says, "What are the bugs like?" Number one, and number two, how was the weather? Because I'm back home in Houston now. Um, so Crystal, the bugs were tremendous. They were like on steroids. It's crazy because they the mosquitoes here in Texas are bigger visually, but the ones in Costa Rica bite harder. And I think they say that the big mosquitoes here that we see that look like helicopters to me are not the biters. But I don't know. I be getting bit up in Houston too, so I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate. And number two, the weather in Costa Rica is weird because the central part of Costa Rica, which is where the capital is, San Jose, it is very, it's drier and it's not as humid. It was still warm, but it was drier and not as humid as the Caribbean side, which was very humid, like the most humid that I think I've ever experienced. Like the water was just running off of me. And I'm not really a big sweater, but like let me just say the my lashes were hard to put on and hanging on for dear life. Um so yeah, that was it in a nutshell. Hot and humid. In On the Caribbean side, it was very uncomfortable at night trying to sleep because of the humidity. And of course, my Airbnb was not air conditioned. So that was the biggest challenge. On in the central area of San Jose, nights were very comfortable to sleep in. So I hope that answers your question. Nova says, "Hey sis, I'm back in St. Louis. How was your trip? You were back too soon. I was hoping that you'd stay out there a little longer." Paul, I see you out there. Hello. Where are you looking from or listening from? And do you have any questions pertaining to Costa Rica? Nova says, will it be a living option for the future? Nova is up for debate. I am going to go check out a couple of other spots. Um, like I said, Mexico is high on my list, and I plan on going to Mexico in a couple of weeks to check out the expat life there for myself and kind of get a feel of the different areas. So, yeah, to be continued. Costa Rica is definitely in the running, but I hear Panama are good spots for expats, as well as Mexico is like the number one spot right now. So I will let you know. Okay, Paul, you're looking in from Atlanta. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not sure if you were keeping up with me as I was bopping around Costa Rica, but if you had any questions about my travels or any questions or comments about Costa Rica in general, please give me a shout out right here. Nova said it was awesome. I was hoping to stay cool. Can't wait to travel again. I know that's right. Once you start, you cannot stop. I know the feeling. I've never been to Cabo. I think you were in Cabo, correct? I've never been to that part of Mexico, but I'm hoping to go there soon. And you say try Belize. Have you been to Belize? I heard really good things about Belize flying into the country, but not so good things when you go via cruise ship. I've never been, so that's another place I want to check out, as well as Honduras. I hear that that's another spot. Okay, Paul says just keep on enjoying life. I know that's right, brother. I try to get that in as often as possible. Are you a traveler or you like to stay put? I know most men like to stay put. I don't know what it is about men and traveling, but the women usually can't get enough. The men are like whatever. So I'm always interested in finding out what's up with that. So Nova says yes. A few times I sailed into Honduras too. The people are very nice in both. Okay. I hear Roatan is a nice spot to visit. Roatan, Honduras. I have never been to Honduras, and I've never been to Belize, and I've never been to Guatemala. So I want to be able to. That's the beauty of living in Central America, like in Mexico, because it's so cheap to bop around and to travel to all of the Central American countries from there. So that's one of the reasons why I am taking a very close look at Mexico. But to be continued, I'll let y'all know. All right. Paul says, love traveling. I know that's right, my brother. I can't get enough of it. I'm trying to set myself up in such a way so that I can have an extended travel period. I'm trying to expat somewhere for a year and kind of like live like a local in that country and work digitally remotely. That is my goal. Nova says the zip lining is awesome in Roatan. I want to go back to Panama too. I've never been to Panama either. I'm making my way across Central America. I've been to Mexico. I think that is and now Costa Rica. Those are the only two countries in Central America that that I have visited so far. So, I'm a little late, with the Central American thing. But, I live so close to Central America too. Like literally, um, Texas borders Mexico. So I don't know what I was waiting for. It's crazy. Panama is extremely humid. Yes, I'm sure, just like Costa Rica was. Um, there were a lot of crazy things that were going on in Costa Rica, wildlife related. There was somebody that recently got killed by a crocodile that he jumped or fell into the water, and the crocodile pretty much dragged and drowned him. And then we had somebody else got bit by a monkey, not too far from the Airbnb that I was staying at. So, one of the things that you have to keep in mind when you go into the jungle areas on the Pacific or the Caribbean side of Costa Rica is, you know, the wildlife encounters. So, definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, the wildlife don't play there. They come right for you. Nova said, "Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was crazy. Not to mention the mudslide and the weather conditions that I actually witnessed firsthand while I was there. It was crazy. It's like I've never experienced anything such rawness in my life, but it was well worth it. It was well worth it. Anyone planning on going there anytime soon or have ever wanted to go there? It's definitely something to behold, especially the way that the country is divided. Historically, there was like a Jamaican, not migration, but basically they were brought there to work the plantations back in the late 1800s, and they pretty much stayed there. So there's a lot of Jamaican influence on the Caribbean side, a lot of black and brown people that look just like me walking around speaking their native tongue of Spanish, but they have a lot of Jamaican flavor to their food and stuff. So it's awesome. Novus wants to know, will you expat for only a year, or do you hope for it to be more permanent? So I am going to start out with committing for a year. My goal is not to stay put in one country, so to speak. What I want to do is move around from country to country and expat in different countries. Um, for like, anywhere from 6 months to a year. I am going to hopefully start out in one country for 1 year myself and my kids and my dogs. We're gonna more than likely start out in Mexico because it's easy. I can load everything up in the car and I can put the dogs in the car and make sure that they have their vet records and everything with them, and we can just cross the border and stay there, until of course our visa runs out, or if I get a digital nomad visa, then I don't have to renew every 3 months, like, do any border runs. So I am going to see. um that's like the easiest move for me because it's drivable. All of Central America is pretty much drivable from Texas. It's a long drive, but it's a contiguous piece of land. So I can basically drive all the way from Mexico through Panama, Nicaragua, and I don't know the order of the countries, but the whole peninsula is pretty much drivable. So that will be the easiest and the closest option for me is to drive. Even to Costa Rica, you could drive from California and from Texas. So um, that'll be where I start, and then who knows what happens after that. I want to be in a place where I could easily bring the dogs. I can't wait to go. I sailed in but didn't get enough of Costa Rica. Yeah, Costa Rica is some place that you have to actually fly into and spend some time because the biodiversity there is crazy. Something that you definitely need to experience. That is my goal too. I want to go to China for a few. Okay, I know several expats, including my own cousin that has expated to China. My cousin stayed in Beijing for, I believe, 3 years with her husband and her young son, and they all speak fluent Mandarin. I think it's amazing. They said that it was a really good experience. So it's definitely worth looking out. And I hear Taipei in Taiwan is like awesome. So check that out. There are a lot of expats, black expats in particular, in Taipei. So I hear that it's phenomenal. Give it a look see. Okay, tell me more about digital nomad visas. Okay, so since expatting and digital nomading, especially right before COVID, had gained a lot of popularity and influence, because this climate here in America, in the United States, especially for Black folks, the politics and the police brutality, and you know all that Trump brought into office and into the mainstream when he came, all of that had kind of led to, and the economy had kind of led to a mass exodus of a lot of Black people. They had said, enough is enough. I need to divorce this toxic country that I live in. And so let me see how life will be in other countries, right? So they started making their way to other countries, Asia, Europe. A lot of folks ended up going to Portugal. That's another hot spot for expats, especially the city of Lisbon. Um, Central America, South America, basically people are all over the globe these days. And so, because of that, and because other countries are experiencing how American and Canadian expats are coming into their country, bringing money with them, because a lot of people work online. They're not on that country's economy. They come with their own resources as far as their own businesses, or their ability to work remotely and still make US money, and thus spending US money, which is usually um, dollar for dollar, so to speak, a little more meaty than their own country's money. So they go there and they spend. So they're infusing money into the economy in these countries, that to the point where they're doing well, and they're benefiting from Americans being there. So now they're a light bulb somehow went on, and they're like, hey, maybe we need to do digital nomad visas so we can keep Americans in our country longer, and they don't have to do border runs, or they don't have to go to different countries to leave our country to come back in and get their passport restamped. So you can apply for a digital nomad visa. A digital nomad is basically a person that works online, and gains their paycheck from American dollar, from the American economy, versus tapping into their own economy, because the last thing they want to do is take away jobs for their own citizens. So yeah, look into the digital nomad visa if you don't intend on getting a job on that country's economy. All right, it's the way to go. Or you could apply for residency if you plan on staying there, not coming back. Shawnee says road trip. Absolutely. If I land in Mexico, you guys are welcome anytime. We plan on, getting a big enough house, and, renting, I should say, a big enough house. I'm not committing to purchasing a house in another country just yet, unless I'm gonna stay. So, yeah, road trip, absolutely. Um, yes, I heard Shantae tell you that. I will check it out. Absolutely. Yeah, Taipei. And if you go to Taipei, I'm coming to visit. Absolutely. Nova says, yep, they will get more bang for their buck. Absolutely. Even though they say Mexico is getting kind of on the expensive side now because all of the Americans and the Canadians are moving there. But it's still cheaper than here. And you definitely do get more bang for your buck. And the Mexican culture, contrary to what they want you to believe in the news, is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You're saying, are they costly? You mean the digital nomad visas? No, I don't think they're not any more costly than any other visa. It's just a different classification, so that basically you don't have to go in and out of the country. And I'm sure getting applying for the digital visa is cheaper than getting an airline ticket to exit the country and come back. So look at it like that. Come on, sis, anytime. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I plan on coming anytime. Nova says it sure is expensive. I was surprised when I was in Cabo. Um, the thing about Cabo is it's so touristy. Like, did you encounter any locals in the Cabo area, or was it all tourists? Was it like just one big tourist trap? Like Cancun, where you have to actually travel outside of Cancun to see the real Mexicans. You know what I mean, as opposed to uh, the tourist trap. Did you see any natives there? And how is the food? Was it? Have you been to any other parts of Mexico? Basically, is what I'm asking. Compared to Cabo. Okay, maybe she's typing her response. But yeah, so like I said, welcome for those who are just tuning in. If you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please say hello in the comments and where you're listening from. And tonight I am here to answer everyone's questions if you have any about my recent trip to Costa Rica. Any questions, comments, inquiries, burning ideas that you might have about the country. Um, yes, lots of them. Yes, lots of them. I didn't get to venture out into the real like I usually do, but I did see lots of natives. Okay, that's good to know. I always thought that maybe Cabo was like a tourist trap. Like I said, I've never been there. I know it's off of the Baja Peninsula, off the coast of California, but I just didn't know how Mexico it really was. I didn't know if it was like uh, Cancunish, or if it was more like Mexico City, which is more of an authentic feel. I'm looking at Merida, Mexico to expat to, and San Miguel de Allena, I think it's called. San Miguel is absolutely beautiful. And that other city right below, well, right above San Miguel in the mountains. I'm looking at those areas. Number one, because the climate is milder, doesn't get well. Merida is very hot and humid. So I can't say that, um, but what was I going to say? But the other two areas that I'm looking at, San Miguel is very mild. And since most of the houses in Mexico don't have air conditioning, I feel like the milder, the better. Even Mexico City, I hear it's pretty nice as far as climate is concerned because it doesn't get as humid there. So I'm looking there as well. I have been to Tulum. I love Tulum. That's another area that is popular with Black expats. I love it. I love it. So okay, Cancun. Yes, I've been to Cancun. Cozumel. I've been to Cozumel. I've been to Costa Maya. Um, all parts of the Yucatan. Okay. One of my tour guides was from Merida. He spoke highly of it. Merida is the bomb. So definitely, if I get there before you as an expat, come visit. I want to visit the outskirts. I like to be with the natives. Me too. Me too. The only thing is, you do have to be careful in Mexico in some areas because they do say that there is a lot of cartels and there is a lot of crime in some areas. So you have to be very careful in which areas that you venture off to, especially if you're a woman traveling alone. It's always good to have people with you. Um, but on the peninsula, it's pretty safe. So um, definitely explore. Absolutely. So yeah. Anybody else have any questions out there? Let's see. I participated in a temescal there. It prompted healing from me in Tulum. Really? Wow. Okay. I was going to do a shaman hut while I was in Costa Rica, but the day that I was going to do it, there was a torrential downpour. So they canceled that particular session. And then I was so jam packed with everything else that I was doing that I didn't get a chance to reschedule. But yeah, I want to participate in one of those rituals. I didn't realize, I should have realized though, that they did them in Mexico. So, um, that's good to know. When I go back to Costa Rica, God willing, in November, I'm hoping to go to the volcanoes and get a chance to do one of the shaman smoking hut ritual things. Yes, I will have to tell you about it. Yes, I would love that. I would love that. Oh my goodness. I love the fact that you get out there and do it too, Sora. You just do what you need to do and get out. Now, did you go on your own by yourself with to Cabo, were you um were you with a group? Hot springs too. Yes, absolutely, the hot springs. Yeah. Um I myself, I like solo travel because I can kind of get up and move around and make my own itinerary or not. I can just relax and chill. And that is like my preferred um, way to travel is solo. Yes, very uninhibited. That's good to know. I never knew that about you. I'm learning. I'm learning. That's great. Um, as I was saying, this tonight's live broadcast is all about a Q&A on my recent trip to Costa Rica. If anyone had any burning questions, thoughts, or anything like that on my travels, or if they are interested in traveling there in the future and think that I might have a couple of nuggets of tidbits and knowledge to share, now is the time to go ahead and ask me. I was with a group, but I like traveling solo or with like minded people. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what is another big thing out there for solo travelers to mix and meet up and mingle with? Number one, the expat groups. You could always find a black expat group in any country that you are traveling to on Facebook. You can kind of connect with people that way. Or, believe it or not, people use Tinder, not just to date either. People use Tinder to meet up with people that just want to hang out and go out to dinner and have a cup of coffee, whether it be opposite sex or same sex. So we use Tinder here for dating, and it seems like people abroad use it for dating as well, but use it for just hanging out with people. And it's a good way to learn, about the city, about the country. People are always helpful and willing to tell you all about the places that they hang out at. And it's been very, very helpful when I travel to kind of meet up with people via Tinder. Please invite me to one. They also have traveling group companies. Check out Wing Buddy. Okay. I will absolutely check out Wing Buddy and see what they're talking about. I've never heard of them before. Good tip, good tip. I also travel with two groups, on my own. I travel with uh the Philly black no the Philly traveling Muslims. They're all Muslim, all women out of Philly. They are known to go around the world to different places. I went to Iceland with them, and it was a wonderful experience. And then there is Ladies in the Sky, which I love those group of ladies. Had a really positive experience with them as well. I went to Thailand with them a couple of years ago, and it was a blast. Most of my traveling I do on my own now. So I kind of like it like that. I like traveling with my oldest daughter as well, and some of my girlfriends. But I haven't done much international traveling outside of like cruises with any of my girlfriends in a very long time. Awesome. I remember seeing your pictures from Iceland, dying to go. Yeah, Iceland is great. I want to go back as well. I want to have a longer time there. When we went, we only stayed like 3 days, and the country is so beautiful. It's breathtaking. The only thing I did not like about Iceland was the food, believe it or not. It was, to me, it wasn't tasty, but a lot of Nordic, or what do you call them? Oh, what do you call it? Not Nordic. What do you call Norwegian type people? Norwegian countries, they don't taste good to me. The food just does not do it for me. So, that was pretty much the only thing that I did not like about um, about Iceland. It feels like, or it tastes like the meat wasn't seasoned. So that was the only thing. You gotta bring your own seasoning in your pocketbook. I did Paris and Greece solo. It was extraordinary. Wow. Okay. I mean, in Greece, you're never alone, though, right? Because people are so friendly. I've met so many amazing people in Greece. People are very friendly in Greece, very friendly in like Sicily. Like, yeah, the Sicilian men love black women. So that is a country that you would never really be alone in if you traveled solo to. Um, Paris, I'm not sure. Paris has a certain air about them. The people are a little more finicky, especially if you don't speak French. Um, so that's the only thing about Paris. They feel like you're very rude if you don't speak their language. I love Paris. I would go back again, but that's the thing. Like they get highly offended if you don't speak French. They sure are. I love Crete. I don't think I've ever been to Crete. I've been to Athens. They are rude. Yes, the Parisians. I find them a little on the rude side too. But, you know, it is what it is. A lot of people say New Yorkers are rude. I don't believe that. I just think that we are focused. So we might come across rude, but that's usually because we are focused on the task at hand and we're not really, looking to have too much conversation. We're just ready to get it in and go about our way. I love Athens too. A lot of history, absolutely. And I want to get to Santorini. That's on my to-do list as well. Yeah. So anyone out there have any other questions about Costa Rica? Sora, where are you heading to next? What's your next port of call, so to speak? or anyone else. I know my next trip, which will be hopefully in October for my birthday, I was gonna go to Bali, but I ended up canceling Bali for my birthday because I'm going to do a wellness retreat in Bali in, I think that's May. I was invited to a wellness retreat. So I'm going to go to Bali in May, but I will be going to Mexico for my birthday instead so that I can check out San Miguel and Mexico City and Merida. So stay tuned for that. I will be bopping around trying to find my ultimate expat location for 2024. It'll be late 2024 when I finally actually expat. It'll be probably September or October of next year because I'm working on some things to kind of get a little bit more uh, digital nomady, for lack of a better word, and be able to kind of support myself and my daughter and my dogs while I'm there. I'm not selling my house, so trying to get a renter in here as well for a year. So that's my plan. And then from there, let's see, no, so in September, I'll be all over the place with weddings, and I'll be in California for about a week, and then October it'll be Mexico. November, I don't really have any big plans on going anywhere, but in December I'll be in South Africa for a month, so I'm looking forward to that. That's how I rationalize my way through offense in Paris, remembering how they feel about New York. Exactly. Santorini is gorgeous. I know it is. I can't wait to get there with all of those white walls. I don't know how they keep it so clean. I'm headed to Spain and Italy next June. Oh, wow. Who are you going to Spain with? I want to come. And Italy? Girl, we need to talk offline. Are you going with the group? Are you going solo? Can I get in on that trip or what? I would love to join you on a wellness trip in the future on my bucket list and an ashram. Absolutely. We can definitely put that together. Definitely. Are you taking the blue train in Cape Town? I don't know exactly what the itinerary is because my daughter's boyfriend is planning the whole itinerary. He's been there numerous time numerous times for extended periods. So he knows all of the ins and the outs. All I know is he said to pack light because we will be moving around. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pack like I did when we went to Dubai. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous when we packed for Dubai. He did well, but I did poorly because I needed options. But this time, when we go to South Africa, I'm going to pack light. Best sushi ever I had was in Santorini. Really? Go figure. I didn't think that you would experience really good sushi outside of an Asian country, but really, Santorini? I wonder what made it so good. Yes, come on. I will keep you posted. Yeah, no, definitely. I need that itinerary so that this way I can put my dates in. So yeah, let's connect. Let's absolutely connect because I've never been to Spain. That's another place I want to travel to is Spain, particularly of course the major cities, Barcelona and um, Madrid, but I want to go to Seville too. I hear Seville has a large Moorish Muslim population. And then, of course, from Seville, you could pop right over to Morocco. So, yeah, I would love to get in on that itinerary and make moves from there. So, definitely keep me posted. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you are back in St. Louis safely and that you enjoyed your trip. Yeah, I want to hear all about it because I've never been to Cabo. Yes, Amalfi Coast. Is that the itinerary for Spain? Are you going to all of those cities or yeah, cities in Spain, or are those the ones that you're just highlighting as hotspots? Oh, Rome. Yes. Rome too. I forgot all about Rome. Um yeah, I want to see Rome as well, but I yeah, that sounds awesome. Keep me posted on it. So yeah, once again, this is Safia Lynette, better known on YouTube as the Global Nurse Expat, and I'm inviting folks to pop on with their Costa Rica questions that hopefully I can answer. Yes, that's the plan. Travel agent is putting an itinerary together for me. Okay. Was this a solo trip, Soror, or was this or did you have somebody tagging along? Cause if not, count me in. I just need the dates and what I need to do, and can get that popping. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it looks like no one else has any questions or comments for me. Miss Nova, did you have anything else you wanted to ask? Because if not, I am going to jump off of here. Or anyone. The one thing I must say is end of May for 14 days. All right, let's talk for real. I am going to message you my phone number because it has changed in the last couple of weeks. So I will message you my phone number so we can connect and I can get my deposit in and get the real, the dates and lock it in. Looking forward to speaking offline. Absolutely. Absolutely, me too. But so yeah, my final thoughts on Costa Rica for those that are still out here listening. Um, I would say go. I would say absolutely go and experience the country. If you go, um, try to stay for at least 7 or 8 days and hire a driver. I would not attempt to do too much renting of cars because number one, it's expensive. Um, the insurance works on a tier system, and so that makes the cost of the car rental double the amount that you are actually quoted by the time you go pick up the car. Number one. Number two, um, it could be kind of dangerous navigating the roadways in Costa Rica, particularly because they are windy and because of weather conditions. So it is a good idea to go ahead and just hire a driver to take you around. He can take you from coast to coast. He knows all of the highlights and the lowlights of the entire country and can kind of give you a good overview of the things that you should possibly see as a tourist. Okay, I highly recommend that. And then, just the culture. San Jose doesn't have a lot to offer as far as being the capital or being the city or the central region as far as the city is concerned. But the region is nice. I like, the topography of it and all of that. It's just not much to see in the way of architecture and stuff like that. But it's still a pretty cute city. I prefer going to the coastal areas. You get more. of a feel of the country that way, more of a feel for the people, the culture, the food, and all of that. So, yeah, definitely try to make your way to Costa Rica. And if you get there, enjoy yourself. Stay away from that wildlife, though, and be prepared to sweat and be hot and humid if you go to any of the coastal regions. All right. And that is it. And that is all for me. Any final thoughts before I end this broadcast? All right, all right, all right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. As always, you can find me on YouTube at the Global Nurse Expat. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my videos as it helps to get me into the algorithm. And hit that notifications button on YouTube so anytime I go live and you miss me on Facebook, you can always catch me on YouTube. You'll get a notification to tune in. All right. Until next time and until next video, ciao.